It is Bell Let's Talk Day, which means working to end the stigma around mental health. 1 in 5 Canadians will deal with mental health illness at some point in their lifetime. And today, people, of course, are encouraged to join in the conversation. And one woman who joined it long ago, Margaret Trudeau. She's an author, an advocate for mental health, and the mother, of course, of the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. She joined us tonight from Montreal. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Marilla. Oh, I'm so honored and happy to be included in this important day.
We're happy to have you as part of this conversation. I know you've been very open about the challenges you have faced over a lifetime. I want to talk a little bit more about those who have helped you and the importance of having some support team around you. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, I was very typical in my resistance to getting any kind of serious treatment. I couldn't commit to it myself for so many years because I kind of was addicted, as many of us are who are bipolar, to the mania, to the excitement, because the opposite of it that comes after the mania passes is depression, where you lose all interest in life, and then mania is you're just on top of the world, or so you think. So I pushed myself after facing the tragedy of the death of my son and then my Pierre, that I pushed myself into insanity. I did everything wrong. I isolated. I abused drugs and alcohol. I didn't talk to anyone. I just wanted to die myself. I have said before that bipolar is, unfortunately, can be a terminal illness because it has the highest suicide rate of all the mental disorders. You get tired of letting everyone down, of having no consistency, no peace of mind. So I was one of the ones I had an intervention by my second son, Sasha, and he found me emaciated and completely no sense, psychotic, no reason. I hadn't eaten for 3 weeks. I had hardly drunk water. I was at the end of my life, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it because I was so sick. So I resisted even at the very end, and even though I had a kind doctor was there to help me, I ran out into the night. It was so cold, and I didn't want to be put away. I didn't want that at all. And what I didn't know was that was the end, and the new beginning, which was a long battle for me because I was 50 when I finally took on my bipolar and took on what I needed to do in order to, and this was the treatment, and this was the excellent doctors, and my favorites, of course, were the psychiatric nurses because they were so comforting and compassionate and helpful to help me grieve, to help me understand that I had to keep breathing, I had to keep eating, I had to keep living. And I didn't know why, because I'd lost, in my illness, I'd lost all sense of hope or anything. But they found courage in me.
And I'm so glad that you're... I'm so glad that you're talking about the other side of things, because, as you said, people who are dealing with mental illness don't often know what's down the road, and to come out of it.
It's a battle, Marilla. It's you have to find the courage deep inside you to say, I want to be better. I want to have peace of mind and a good life. I want to be loved. I don't want to be put up with anymore. I want to fit in. I want to be part of. I don't want to fall into the depths of despair and then climb up into madness. I want to be in one person, one whole person. There was 2 aspects to my recovery. The first one was hospitalization and quite serious pharmaceuticals, which I had to give into because I was resistant to the idea of normalizing and robotizing my mind as I thought it would be. No, it was the biological, scientific help I needed to balance the hormones in my brain. My brain was completely out of whack. And now they know so much. They can see your brain. They can see what the effect of the hormones in your brain are. So and then the next part of it, once I had my brain balanced, was changing my mind, which is the title of my book, of course, on this struggle. And it was to cognitive behavioral therapy, which changes you. I just say I moved from walking alone with my head down on the shady side of the street, which I had chosen, and instead I chose the sunny side of the street and looking up and waiting for life in front of me instead of hiding from it and fearing it. I think that treatment for me gave me back my life. It took a long time. It was a battle. It's hard. It's new habits that you have to learn, really new habits. And I did it.
Congratulations. Look, this is huge.
Yeah.
That's something that you talk about, and that would be inspirational to people
I'm so
watching.
grateful, Marilla.
I'm sure.
I'm just
I
so
can tell
grateful
that you are, just in the way that you speak about it. When you are
It was 5 horrible years of real struggle to get better, but with lots of support, and it was baby steps, and my children understood that they had to recognize the small little breakthroughs that I had, even going to the hairdresser and getting rid of my mop of wild hair, doing things that for myself of self-care that they noticed, at no big expectations, just steadily getting myself back to my best self. And I could not have done it without the experts, without the treatment, without the books I read, without Marion Baton, for example, from Great West Life, who's written the most extraordinary book on mental health in the workplace, of really understanding what is mental illness, what is going on in my mind, and how can I recover from this illness. And you can, and it gives you hope, it gives you compassion, and more than anything, I've got gratitude. Yeah.
Margaret Trudeau, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing that message. It's so important. Thank you.
Well, I am so grateful, and thank you, Mary Deacon, from the bottom of my heart for having the inspiration to have this day, because it's not just one day, you know that. It changes people for days and days and weeks and months, and if they can really take it on, they'll change their lives. Thank you for that.
We'll leave on that uplifting note. Take care. For every text message, cell call, and long-distance call made by Bell Canada, Bell Alliant, and Bell MTS customers today, every view of the Bell Let's Talk Day video on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, every tweet using hashtag Bell Let's Talk, and every time you use the Let's Talk Facebook frame for your profile photo, and every use of the Bell Let's Talk filter on Snapchat, Bell donates 5 cents to mental health initiatives across the country.